Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me Isabel here with double my usual. I had 2 cans of Diet Coke in here and a lot of ice because, was it a month again? I am begging and pleading for people to get it together, please. I want a calm month. I want a 10-minute, I want a 15-minute month, okay? Like, I am begging you to get it together, world, Romancelandia, all the things, please. But I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon for me or my sanity. So I'm back with our May Romancelandia. I'm sure as of me filming this on the 22nd of May, something has happened. I can almost guarantee it because we got a long weekend. Somebody's gonna act a fool. It's guaranteed. It always happens. And yeah, I'm gonna have timestamps for you down below if you want to jump around to anything in particular. And we're gonna just dive on in. We broke containment, and I also don't love when the book space breaks containment because I want to be like, no, we're chill over here, I promise. We're a bunch of book nerds, like, it's fine. But then there's some of us that are not and maybe need help. We'll get there. Let's talk about A Million Lives, or A Million Lives book festival that happened this month and quite literally broke containment. I am not going to detail this event in like fully for you because there are so many videos already on this, and I personally didn't want to do a video on it. I kind of had fun just watching it unfold. Fun and misery, okay? I'm definitely stunned, like everyone else, at how bad of a fail this was for a book event. But there are a lot of deep dive videos. Pick your favorite person. They've got one probably that does commentary, because this, no joke, has been on multiple news websites and has truly broken containment of the book community. I will have links down below for you, of course, to a ton of the videos I watched and collected on this, so you can check that out. The very loose rundown, if you are curious and don't want a deep dive, because again, I'm not doing a deep dive here, is they were promising high 500s or low 600s of attendance. Literally empty. Like, no one was there. I don't even know the number, but it was tiny. The ball event was a speaker someone played music on. No decorations. The content creator room was an empty room. This is like, everyone's been comparing it to Fry Fest and DashCon, and like, honestly, DashCon had a ball pit and that's more than this event. It is just astounding. I have really enjoyed the firsthand accounts we've gotten from people who attended and authors who attended, and it breaks my heart. Truly, it upsets me so much as someone who's attended a lot of events, and this is part of why I go to events and report back to y'all on my experience, because I attend as just a reader. I'm never attending an event as an influencer. I'm sure if it happened, I would take it, but like, I would still be like, hey, this was a disaster if that was the case. Also, like, I don't know. I don't have it in me to lie. So one thing I do want to point out with this entire situation is there's a website. I will link it below for you. It'll be at the top of the links for the Million Lives links. This has everyone who attended the event as an author or a vendor. So check out their books maybe. If there's something you're interested in, pick it up. I feel like that's the best thing we can do right now as a book community, is support these people who just lost a lot of money from this event because they were lied to. Full stop. Supposedly this event organizer has other events scheduled this year. I could not confirm or deny this in any capacity, but I did get a TikToker author that attended talking about how she has other events that was going to be attending and decided not to. Rumor is at the end of the month some refunds should be happening, but I don't know who all is or isn't getting refunded fully. I'm gonna keep my eye on it and I will update you as I know more. But yeah, this is like worse than that Bridgerton ball. Like, this is the worst bookish event turnout we've had yet. And I understand why people have nerves and fears about attending these events now. And this is what I've learned in my various event attendance is, one, there are a lot of good events, and for every good event, there's a bad event. You have to go in with the mindset of what it is going to take for you to be satisfied at a book event. Is it just getting to meet a bunch of your favorite authors? Go with that and you'll be happy, right? Or is it getting to hang with your friends and you're going with your friends? That's going to, you know, pan out much differently. I think one of the big things to do also is, if you can go local, if you can go to local book events like this that are a little closer to home and you're not having to spend as much to travel, it really cuts the cost, and it also makes it a lot less of a loss if it's a terrible experience. But as long as like there's enough authors to you that the cost is justified and they're attending it, I think it can be worth going even when it turns out badly, because you still would get to meet your favorites who maybe don't go to a lot of events. So there's that. The other advice I have is, who is organizing the event? Like, search their name. Are they an event planner? Do they have experience at event planning is there people on the team with event planning experience, because I feel like that has been a big red flag lately. A lot of these people doing events have no experience, have never done it before, are not former event planners. Like when I went to Steamy Lit, I felt pretty confident the first year because Mel has previously been in event planning for work, and that to me is like a green flag, you know? But if somebody is doing this because they just think it's going to be easy, or maybe they think it's an easy cash grab, that could be a red flag. And often I think those are going to be people who, again, are not necessarily having any experience prior with events. Especially as we watch the bookish space grow, we are going to see more people enter it to scam. We already have scammers. That's already happened, and it's going to continue to happen and not stop. So I could see book events becoming part of that problem. Okay, yeah, so that's A Million Lives. Like I said, if you really want a full deep dive, I thought about grabbing screenshots and all this stuff, and I was just like, I don't have it in me. So this is what you're getting on A Million Lives. Definitely check out various YouTubers who have created videos. Jess over at Jess Owens, of course, has a video, one of my friends. There's a couple other videos out there from people who do commentary as well, so be sure to check it out. Yeah, as we finish talking about A Million Lives, again, please, please, please go check out the authors that were there and had such a terrible experience and support them how you can, even if it's reading their book in KU. Let's move on to some queer book community stuff. I just kind of lumped this all together because at the end of the day it all ties together, because it's all related to people who write in the LGBT space for romance generally, but it's a variety of topics. First of all, there's two things that are on this J Fiction blog that does a lot of coverage of Sapphic stuff. So first of all, a bunch of Sapphic books, like 226 of them potentially, have been ripped off into generative AI and republished by other authors. They're not really authors. The author of this blog has confirmed 70 of these books for sure are rip-offs of other Sapphic titles. I'm going to link to it below if you're an author. If you know anyone who's an author who writes in this, just Sapphic books in general, send them that way, because they need to go check if their books are a target of this entire scrape they've done of books. The other thing on J Fiction that I think is fascinating is that another author got caught catfishing in the Sapphic book community. This isn't our first. This could go on a bingo board because I think it happens every year now. A author called Sabrina Cain appears to be a 56-year-old white man named Sean David Wright. And he has been pretending and interacting with people as though he is Sabrina Cain and writing Sapphic books, including one that featured an author being a man and the main character covering for him so he doesn't get caught while writing Sapphic books. That's suspicious. That's weird. So just a heads up. And then the other one that we have this month is shocking, and it gives us, it helps on the bingo board, I guess we'll call it. And that is Layla Moran has been outed on Reddit for plagiarizing fanfics for her male romances. And it's so blatant that she has things where not changing the name of a character that is from a movie called Pilgrimage in 2017 in the book. So it's obvious it was fic that she took. There's a fantastic thread though of all of the books basically. So The Beauty and His Beast is plagiarized from a fic called An Invitation to Happiness. The Warrior and the Monk is plagiarized from a work called How Rich the Earth, How Bright the Stars. The Rancher's Mail Order Husband plagiarized Bluebells and Daylilies and Wild Roses Running Rampant. And all she has done is slightly change names and rearrange some of the words. And more people in the thread have offered insight on other things that they believe she plagiarized from. And they are actually tracking down each fic to the books. So just a heads up, if you read Layla Moran's books, you might not want to continue. I think it's really egregious to think you can get away with just stealing other people's work and publishing it by just changing some names and words. And disappointing. Very disappointing, to be honest with you. All right, on to the hockey book of the summer. Not really. Sean Avery, a former hockey player, retired in the 2010s, okay, is co-writing a book with Leslie Cohen called Summer Skate. And it's gonna be your hot hockey romance of the summer. No, it's not, y'all. I need everyone to understand who Sean Avery is and fully grasp that this is not a man we want entering the romance community, because he is bad. Bad news. There are deep dives on his issues. There's threads and TikToks and all this about his behavior. But I think some highlights, in my opinion, to convince you why we don't need to read a cheating trope book that it seems that was co-written by Sean Avery. They literally made a rule. It's called the Sean Avery rule, or the Avery rule in hockey, because he would like chirp the goalie and distract him so that his team could score. Like, they made a rule that you can't do that because of him. So that alone for me, like the bad sportsmanship of that, I'm out. But he also talked badly about partners and former partners publicly. There's accusations of domestic violence, it appears. He was abusive, and overall is probably like one of the most notoriously like not good people in hockey. Like, blatantly not good. And he literally made such derogatory comments about a former girlfriend that the like commissioner of the NHL suspended him. He was traded for bad behavior. Oh, also child abuse, not just domestic. There was also child abuse accusations. And I need people to understand something here. When the sports world, like men's sports, is saying someone is terrible, we have to take note that that person is probably terrible, because they don't call their own out, okay? They let a lot go. Love it or hate it, that is the case. I think it's pretty well known that sports people will cover things up and ignore a lot of bad behavior because they like a player. They didn't do that with Sean Avery. So let's make sure we don't purchase Summer Skate. I wouldn't also be surprised if it ends up not actually being a romance. So I will say that also. But I am appalled at this happening, but I'm also really appalled at the people I saw who were like, well, I'm still gonna read it. I just don't understand, but you do you, I guess. I definitely just don't think... I'm not gonna care too hard if you come back complaining that it was terrible. And in more hockey news, Elle Kennedy's Off-Campus series got casted this month. Like, they released the cast sheet. Here it is. So, these are like college-age people, right? And I'm really indifferent on this show and on this series at this point in my life. I read them a long time ago. They were fun for what they are. I never continued on to the spinoffs. But people, grown-ups, adults, were upset making videos about how upset they were at the casting because they didn't feel like the people were hot enough. And a lot of these actors are like 18 to 20, and they were complaining they aren't hot enough. And I need people to take a seat, take a breath, let the show happen, see how it goes once you see it on screen in action. These are their headshots. Second of all, you were like most of the people I saw complaining are in their mid-20s or older. I need you to breathe. We don't need to worry about if an 18-year-old is hot enough or not. Like, that's weird. Please. That's weird. I'm curious to see how the reception is of this at the end of the day when it does come out. If it does happen, we'll see. Because, like, things get canceled all the time. But, you know, like I said, I'm not a huge fan anymore of this series, but I'm curious to see the outcome of it becoming a television show. Will I watch it? I don't know. I might watch the first episode, if that. But Elle Kennedy has her issues outside of that anyways. But overall, like, I'm just like, this is such an interesting reaction. It's not the only interesting reaction this month. This month we had a lot of interesting reactions to things, because then Silver Elite came out, this book by Danny Francis. This is a dystopian romance, and I feel like it was one of the two things that every time I swiped or got in any socials this month, I saw people talking about as soon as it came out. So this is a dystopian romance. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, I have no real interest in it. It's like a 20+ hour audiobook. It's long. It's a trilogy or duology. I'm good. But people are mad because it doesn't seem to them to have the political commentary they expect from a dystopian. I don't think the book benefited from some of the marketing around like Katniss but adult, or the fact that like the last Hunger Games just came out recently. Like, I don't think that's benefiting this book any, because I mean, that's a really hard dystopian to be compared to, you know? But I think the really interesting part here is, one, this post is part of what set people off. And I do think it's a little weird, but basically it's like, why a dystopian romance? And they said that they wanted a spicy dystopian, so they wrote it. But the real thing that has set people off, I think, is that this book got a really big marketing push for a brand new author, as it appears, a brand new author. I don't know. We don't know. It's a pen name. Obviously there's nothing like identifying about them in their bio or anything. So it's a pen name and it's brand new author with this pen name. Well, we don't know that it's a brand new author, but like the pen name's brand new, right? So people were rightfully like confused at the marketing push for a brand new author dystopian romance, because I saw ads I was seeing a ton of stuff for this constantly all over the place, and I was like, that's interesting for a brand new author. Like, that's a big marketing push, right? But that big marketing push led to really uncomfortable and past the line speculations, right? Like, it can be fun to speculate on who maybe wrote a thing, but I think like some people really went too far and were like trying to dig a little too deep and a little too hard on who Danny Francis could potentially be. There's a lot of theories out there, a lot of theories that I think are way off base. Someone said Colleen Hoover. I don't think a publishing house would pay. Like, I think a publishing house would pay Colleen Hoover more money to put her name on something than to take it off. You know, and I think it can be fun to like speculate, but like authors had to come out and be like, I'm not Danny Francis, because the speculation went that bad, like that hard. So, you know, again, I think this is an interesting one. I'll be curious to see if it ever comes out or not. I've seen a couple theories that I think are probably closer than not, but I'm not going to tell you any of that because we don't need to share that necessarily. But yeah, I think the Silver Elite conversation was interesting. The biggest thing I saw was basically if you liked Fourth Wing, you'll probably like Silver Elite. So do with that what you will on if you think you should pick this book up or not. For me, I'm immediately out due to the length, so it's a no for me. On to more bullying of authors. So Navessa Allen announced the audiobook narrators for Caught Up, her new release coming out in June. I don't know, I have it pre-ordered. I'm very excited. I loved Lights Out. So I'm very, very pumped for this, right? People are mad because it's not the same narrator as the first book, and this one is Teddy Hamilton and Casey Hallowell. And like, people are mad to the point that they were in Navessa Allen's comments for this announcement complaining about who the narrator was. I think a key point here with Caught Up is this is a different couple. We're not following the same couple from Lights Out. This is a completely different couple. Why would we have the same narrators? I love when we switch up narrators. But people harassed Navessa Allen to the point that she is pulling back from social medias. But yeah, people harassed her to the point with this that she's pulling back from social media. She said she's not really going to do events anymore or anything. She is like, I'm done. I'm going to basically only post things, limit comments, all this stuff. And I was like, girl. And when I saw that, I said, good for you. Good for you. Because honestly, I don't know how else to take the response that people had because you're just going to keep getting it. But I just, again, y'all, I need people to be better. I don't think it's hard to be better. I don't think it's hard to complain not in the author's threads. This feels like the same conversation, but like it's for this as the like don't tag authors in bad reviews where people are like, but I want to tag them. No, like just don't. Post your bad review, don't tag them. Post that you're not happy with the narrator, don't tag people. It's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult to have like an ounce of kindness. Two, you haven't even heard the book, really. So you don't know if you're gonna like Teddy as the narrator for this or not. It's gonna be okay. Also, if you hate the narrator, read the book. It's fine. You could read it with your eyes instead. Like, it's okay. On that note, though, same vein as the Caught Up situation, I found out that an author I've read before, Tierney Storer, is releasing a book this month called Caught Up. And the cover, so she's deleted this original post. So I will link to the TikTok that alerted me to this. But that has the covers. But this book is called Caught Up. Caught Up Bad is a dark mafia rom-com. Burned out therapist, female main character trauma she's done pretending to heal from, a scarred mafia man, male main character who's secretly sweet with a redemption arc, and a mask like Ghost from Call of Duty, break and enter spice, mass tension, stalker, sweet energy, and a villainous ex who just got out of prison. A lot of this is giving the same energy as Lights Out. It's not identical, but close enough. And I've not read, like, I don't even remember the summary for Caught Up, but this feels weird to me to have your book coming out so close to another book with a very similar title. But also in that TikTok, they pointed out that Tierney's done this before with some other covers and titles that are very similar to another author I've never read, Katie Crew. So that's a bit of a red flag. And I mostly bring this up because I've read Tierney before, and I just don't think I'll be reading her anymore now. Like, I don't think any more of those books will be on my TBR. Personally, I'm getting an ick currently for this behavior, and I think it's really weird. Really, really weird. Okay, next we are gonna touch on this, but I have a full video on this. I did a whole entire video on the fanfiction to publication pipeline and talked about the Dramione books coming out in July. So you can go watch that for a full detailed breakdown. But I do want to talk about it here for a brief moment because there's some things I didn't talk about in that video. And one of those is that Fairy Loot's June book is called Shackled Obsession. And it is indeed one of these titles. I'm sure you can guess which. I'm not going to say it out loud just in case somebody doesn't want to be spoiled. Or actually, I'm going to say it, but you can like skip down below with the timestamp. So that book is Rose in Chains, and they're marketing it with forced proximity when it's a captor-captive romance. It's a captor-captive romance. Stop calling that forced proximity. That is not the same thing. Lord, it is not the same thing. And we're gonna have people upset just like with Firebird because we didn't market it correctly in this box. So people didn't know to skip. And I don't love that. And it makes me really mad. It makes me really mad, y'all. So I just want to give the heads up in case you are a Fairy Loot subscriber and you don't want this book, you can skip. Next, we have an It Ends With Us lawsuit update because I think this is really fascinating this happened. I continue to I'm following, but I'm not updating y'all every time something happens because I think we kind of have to wait to see how this plays out in court. But Blake Lively's team just filed a Rule 11 sanction, which this is apparently what it is. I went to lawyers to talk to them. So Rule 11 of the federal court, Rule 11 says lawyers and their clients can't file claims that are legally baseless, factually unsupported, filed for an improper purpose like harassment or PR spin. And if they do, the judge can sanction them monetary penalties, so if they do, the judge can sanction them, which could mean things like monetary penalties, formal reprimands, or orders to pay the other side's legal fees. And Blake's team has hit everyone but Justin Baldoni with this suit because it seems as though perhaps some of those suits filed by Justin Baldoni's lawyers for these other people were an attempt to do a PR spin, maybe. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. We'll find out. But I find that really interesting. I think this is a really interesting update at the end of the day because I didn't suspect it, you know? Because it is like one of those things where it's been kind of quiet. Like we've been getting stuff, but nothing like huge really, in my opinion, to like follow up on. Yeah, so nothing huge to like follow up on. So I'm very, very, very curious to see where this Rule 11 filing goes. I will be keeping an eye on it and I will update you as I hear more. Now let's have a little fun and silly stuff roundup. So we have 2 new authors that are joining Bloom Books. We have Elle Seegers, who I've read and adored. I need to read more from her, but her books are also heart-wrenching and painful. Elizabeth Helen, they write the Beasts of the Briars series, is also joining Bloom Books, so we will be getting repubs of those starting in like November, and I don't remember the date for Elle Seegers. I'll put it up here though. So yeah, just heads up, if you want indie editions of things, now is the time. The other thing is NetGalley. We have 2 new NetGalley updates for you. First of all, I think the biggest one, NetGalley has officially fixed the send to Kobo situation. You can send books to your Kobo now, and you don't have to do side loading and all this other stuff to get your books on there. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for y'all because that was such a bullshit change. And then also, NetGalley is launching an app called Booktrovert on June 23rd for bookish giveaways? Question mark? I'm not for sure what's happening here. I'm really curious to see how it plays out and what it is, but we have a new bookish app coming our way. If you want a little joy, because I do think it was really cute to see this reaction, even though I'm not going to watch Black Brotherhood because of Passionflix being owned by a Musk. But J.R. Ward reacts to seeing Zadist for the first time and some of the costumes for the first time. I'm going to link it down below. Just watch. She's like near tears. It's really sweet to see, and I think it's fun to see like an author react to seeing their stuff in person. And then the other fun thing we have is Cosmo is launching a imprint at Source Books called Cosmo Reads. We have 2 titles already. So we have Female Fantasy by Aman Harari Kia, and that is out October 14th. And then it seemed like a good idea by Lauren Blakely is out September 2nd. I'm really curious to see what books Cosmo Reads brings to us because I think that's just an interesting concept and an idea. It feels like it's going to be a very micro curation of titles that would fit the Cosmo reader. So I'm curious, and I know they're going to be romance adjacent, if not romance. All right, y'all, it is bingo board time, and we have a bingo. We got a bingo, which is wild. It's not even June. I thought it would take till June or July, but here we are. So let's talk about it. First of all, the fanfic box is done officially because we had the Rose in Chains and Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy fanfic conversation. So that was another box. That gave us 2. And then our third check was the Layla Moran plagiarizing a ton of fics. So that box is full. I think that the book subscription box is also a check now for 1, Firebird, which I forgot last month, and 2, the Rose and Change things. That is going to be a scandal, guaranteed. A new bookish app we got because the NetGalley Booktrovert app is launching. And then, okay, these are ones that we didn't talk about in the full video. So first up, I just want to highlight this one because I don't think it deserves a full call out. The author has apologized, but basically I'm going to put the picture up here. This author got really mad that someone posted a DNF review that they weren't in the mood for a book and 1-starred it. They were really upset. So author and review spaces check. And then plagiarism, but it's not, I think is done because of this situation that I'm going to briefly cover. I'm not going to show you a screenshot because it was in like a private authors Facebook group, but authors use a software called Vellum, and Vellum allows them to format ebooks. Well, apparently there's something Vellum AI related, like not this software, but like something else is called Vellum with AI related info to it. Some readers assumed that Vellum was an AI software and that authors were plagiarizing their books with AI. So this is why I'm saying it's plagiarism, but it's not as a check, because people were acting as though authors were plagiarizing via generative AI when they were just using a software that lets them format their books. That's it. That's what Vellum is. So whatever you see made by Vellum, the author just didn't delete it, and that's okay. And it literally is just how they format the ebooks. That's it. That's it. That's all it does. So there's that. Yeah. What a month. What a bingo. I mean, we might have 2 bingos by summer. That's wild. I didn't expect it, but here we are. If you think I missed a mark on the bingo board, let me know down below. But that's where I'm feeling like we're at right now. It's May and we have a bingo. The trend prediction in my brain is strong. Let me know in the comments if you think I missed anything, or if there's anything you want to touch on that I talked about. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you don't want to do that, you can leave me a notebook emoji, because I feel like I took so many notes for this month. Like I said, we've had a couple months here now of very, very busy, very, like a lot happening and a lot of notes, but it's not all bad. You know, some of these were quick items this month, at least. I will take that win. So yeah, we'll do a notebook, a pen, a pencil, one of those emojis down below. If you're interested in early access to Romancelandia, I do have a Patreon and YouTube membership tier where you get access to that, as well as my Discord and the 25 and 2025 challenge this year. You can always join whenever, but you will get these before they go up if you're interested in that. And if you are looking for links and all that good stuff, it is going to be down below in that description box. Links to my friend anywhere I am on the internet. That's it for May's Romancelandia, y'all. I will talk to y'all soon in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for.